Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, fortunate souls doing Bhakti Shastri under VIHE. We are discussing Sri Isopanisad, the Shruti Praman, establishing the absolute truth. And we are in mantra 3, which describe the principle of disharmony with Ishavasa principle. So in this mantra number 3, the first para we have finished, who is demon. So who is demon? There are two types of human beings. One is called divine, with divine nature. The other is called with demonic nature. Dev, Asura. So what is the difference between the two? In Bhagavad Gita, the difference is those who abide by the scripture are divine, and those who disobey the scripture, they are called demonic. Those who are in mode of goodness are divine. Those who are in a lower mode of passion and ignorance, they are more or less demonic. And in Padma Puran it is said, those who are Vishnu Bhakta are divine, and those who are opposite to that, it means those who are not devotees of the Vishnu are called demons. And yesterday we have a definition of Asura. Asu means life here, and Ramante means enjoying. Those who are enjoying the life, not actually caring for self-realization, they are demonic. And the next para which we were discussing, who is the soul killer? So soul killer is a like symbolic word. It's not actually a literary soul killer, means to kill the soul, because soul is immortal. Soul cannot be killed. So what soul killer actually means? Killing the divine consciousness of the soul, or the developed and evolved consciousness of the soul in the human form of life, degrading that. So, and then what we were discussing, who is Asura? So Asura is more like a mentality. It's not that Asura is like having a horn and a very ferocious looking. No. Some, like when Srila Prabhupada was fighting for the Jew land, he said, well, they are demonic. Even the people who are in a political parties or the government, they act as the demons. In other words, the demonic mentality sometimes overcome most of the people.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
I think they have forgot to put the recordings. Please tell Rajendran and Prabhuji start the recording.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay, I have a recording, and my Facebook is also going live.
Recording in progress.
Yes, Prabhuji, it's on now. The recording is.
Anyway, my Facebook is live also, and I have my audio recording also. If this is not done, then they can take from me. Now, for the word soul killer, yesterday we discussed another verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:20-17. The last word is Atmaha, means killer of the soul. The one who has all the best facility of a human body as a boat, spiritual master as a captain, scripture as a favorable wind, but still if he is not taking full advantage in human form, then he is the killer of the soul. Now we are going further. How can we say soul can be killed? Because soul is immortal. And then Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in 2nd chapter, the soul is immortal. But then in the 16th chapter, verse number 21, he said 3 doors for the hell. What they will do? Nasnam atmanaha. Nasnam atmana means destroying the soul. So this is a figurative explanation. So next, go to the next slide. Now see who is an Atmaha. Use of figurative expression. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said the principal meaning Mukhya Vritti, Abhidha Vritti versus Gauna Vritti or Lakshana Vritti means secondary meaning. Kill soul's real life. Soul's real life means developed, evolved spiritual consciousness. So symptom of Isthita Pragya, which means evolved consciousness. स्थित प्रज्ञा का भाषा समाधि स्थित केशव स्थिति किम प्रभासित किमासित व्रजेत किम. And then Arjuna asked about the one who has evolved consciousness, how can he reach to that stage? Kairlinge stringunanetan atito bhavati Arjuna. Prabho kim acharata katham chaitan stringunanati virtate. O Lord, by what symptom is a person known as beyond gunas? It means transcendental consciousness. What is his conduct? How does he surpass the gunas? So, this is the evolved consciousness which is destroyed by disharmony with Ishavasa principle. So, 3 levels of reading, Madhva Acharya explains. Literal meaning, like literal happening in history. Ethical meanings of the word. There is a moral benchmark that guide us in our present day ethical decision making. And metaphorical meaning, figurative. These historical events symbolize truth relevant to seekers on the spiritual path. Actually, Srila Prabhupada was against this metaphorical meaning of Bhagavad Gita, which people usually say, well, it is not a war. It is war within us. There is no Kurukshetra, there is no Pandava Kaurava. It is all the demon and divine mentality within us. So Prabhupada was against this type of explanation of Bhagavad Gita. But there are some figurative or metaphorical meaning that, so we will just see what is the meaning. Especially to reading Itihasa and Purana like Ramayana and Mahabharata. Literal reading, Ravana abduct Sita. Literal reading purify us. Example of ethical reading, Sita got attracted to golden deer. Ethical lesson, not to be attracted to Maya when we are with Lord. So example of metaphorical reading, these events are historical. There can be further meaning derived looking them as symbols. And this is in our Bhagavatam. The 6 children killed by Kansa of the Devaki and Vasudeva. And then Balaram and Krishna appeared. This symbolized that when the 6 anartha, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsar, lust, anger, greed, when they are killed, the spiritual master appears, which means Sri Balaram. And then Krishna is approached or attained. But it does not mean that the actual event of Kansa killing six children did not happen. So that is actual. But still there is analogy or the metaphor. Kansa represent fear, Devaki represent bhakti, and the six anartha are the vices which are the son of mind. Mind represent, Marichi represent mind, and the six vices, lust, anger, greed, काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मोह, illusion, mada, arrogance, matsarya, enviousness. So they needs to be destroyed. Then the Balaram appears, which means the spiritual master, represented the one who is who expand himself as a spiritual masters, appears, and then Krishna is appearing in our life. So it has to be done carefully and taken in proper context so that we do not make any misjudgment. So the meaning should be properly done. Metaphoric reading has to be done in such a way that it is consistent with the scriptural message. Metaphor should supplement, not supplant the literal reading, unless the literal reading leads to the obvious absurdities. E.g. the house, the example is like a house on a Ganga. The house on Ganga. So this is something like that, in the river or on the river cannot be house. So we have to find out the secondary meaning. It means the house is at the bank of Ganga. So, say for example, word go means cow is an example of Rudi. Rudi means, since its relation with its literal meaning is purely convention. The decoration of the word panchak. Pachak means one who cooks, chef. On the other hand, the yoga vritti, through the word's derivation from the root pach means cook. In addition, ka, which means pachak, means a cook, a chef. So there are the different meaning, primary meaning and secondary meanings in conventional use. So the whole idea is Atmaha, we should not take it literally, but we should understand it figuratively. Therefore the whole, this paragraphs are given that you can read. I think there is nothing nothing complicated, like this person is like a lion. Singho Devadattaha. Devadatta is a lion. It means he is a heroic. Devadatta is a heroic person. Is a metaphorical called lion. Lion-like qualities. So that we have to understand the meaning in that context. Okay. Now we are going to the paragraph number 3 and 4. Human life versus animal life. Now you remember we have this question in the number 1 text or in the invocation. So in that answer you have add all these things. So human life versus animal life is para 3 and 4. So we are reading the para number 3 now. Somebody can read para number 3?
There are swine dogs, camels, asses, etc., whose economic necessities are just as important to them as ours are to us. But the economic problems of these animals are solved only under nasty and unpleasant conditions. The human being is given all facilities for a comfortable life by the laws of nature, because the human form of life is more important and valuable than animal life. Why is man given a better life than that of the swine and other animals? Why is a highly placed government servant given better facilities than those of an ordinary clerk? The answer is that a highly placed officer has to discharge duties of a higher nature. Similarly, the duties human beings have to perform are higher than those of animals. who are always engaged in simply feeding their hungry stomachs. Yet, the modern soul-killing civilization has only increased the problems of the hungry stomach. When we approach a polished animal in the form of a modern civilized man and ask him to take interest in self-realization, he will say that he simply wants to work to satisfy his stomach and that there is no need of self-realization for a hungry man. The laws of nature are so cruel, however, that despite his denunciation of the need of self-realization and his eagerness to work hard to fill his stomach, he is always threatened by unemployment.
So, this is the paragraph number 3. So, what we really deduct the difference between the human and animal. Anybody can paraphrase in own language? Really, so many students, rather than 23, 4 students are there, only 2, 3 are speaking. What about Kishore Mukunda Das? What do you understand from this paragraph, Kishore Mukunda? Yes, Kishore Mukunda. What you understand from this paragraph number 3?
So, based on the nature of the animal or human, like the facilities are provided by the material nature, the comforts are given to the human form.
So what is the difference? If you have to write the difference based on this paragraph, how will you write the difference between the animal and the human being?
The person who works towards self-realization is a human being. The person who is not working about self-realization is an animal.
Very good. So the one who is given the higher facilities, then he has a higher responsibility, and the higher responsibility is self-realization. If we are not actually practicing the self-realization, then we are misusing the higher facilities, and then we are polished animals. Okay. So what is common in human and animal, and what is different in human and animal?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Sangeeta.
Yes, Prabhu. The common features are eating, meeting, defending, sleeping.
Right.
And
These four are common. These four are common in human and animal. Right. So
Yes.
what differentiates the human from animal?
that is the consciousness. Human beings have evolved consciousness, and animals don't have.
The word used in that verse is dharma adhiko vishesha.
Yes, sir.
Dharma adhiko vishesha means human has religious principle, and animal don't have such. So the differentiation between human and animal is the religious principle. Prabhupada used to say animal is running on 4 legs and modern man is running on 4 wheels. He is sophisticated animal. Because both are struggling for the stomach, means all 4 needs. Stomach is like a symbolic for R, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithunya. R means food, Nidra means sleep, Bhaya means fear, protection, and Maithunya means sex life. So they are common in both. And they get that by nature, and we have made so many elaborate arrangements simply for these 4 things in modern civilization. So we are going to the next para number 4. Somebody should read para number 4. Or something I seen why Prabhupada has used these 4 names, from where he has used these 4 names. Swine, dogs, camel and asses. This is from Bhagavatam, 1 verse. Swine means simply have children, just a sex life. Dog is an educated modern man with a degree going from office to office for employment. Like a dog goes from door to door for food. And camel is you give them the nice plant to eat, but they only eat thorny plant and injure themselves, their mucosa, and get their only blood salty. It means intoxication and all other things, people ruin themselves. And asses are hard working. They get the kicks, but still they work hard. So these are the 4 examples given in Bhagavatam of an animalistic propensity in the human civilization. All these 4 are the different animalistic propensity in the human, modern polished human. You give them nice halwa. Prabhupada said you give the halwa to the swine, to the pig, he will not eat, he will eat his stool. And one Western devotee, he thought it may not be possible, so he took halwa and gave to the pig, and pig ran away from halwa and he just took his stool. So this is their nature. So these 4 you will see in Bhagavatam, all these 4. A animalistic propensity in human, modern human civilization. Now we are going to the para number 4. Somebody should read para number 4.
We are given this human form.
Yes.
Okay, we are given this human form of life not to work hard like asses, swine and dogs, but to attain the highest perfection of life. If we do not care for self-realization, the laws of nature force us to work very hard, even though we may not want to do so. Human beings in this age have been forced to work hard like the asses and bullocks and that pull carts.
What is the pull card? What is the pulling card symbolized here? Bullock cart pull the card and ash pull the card. How the human beings are compared to that?
In the family, taking care of families and relations.
Yeah, big family, society, relation, taking all burden on them, and they are just pulling it on. I used to give example to the brahmacharis. in Kanpur, they have buffalo cart. So they overload the cart, and the man pulls from front and the wife push from behind. And they all just make the buffalo to pull the cart. So this is the life people are living, literally speaking. Okay.
Alright. Some of the regions where the Asuras are sent to work are revealed in this verse of Sri Isopanisad.
Anybody explain? No. Anybody understand what is the meaning of this line? First line, now see the first line of the verse, number 3. Asurya nam te loka. See, the loka means places. There are planets where Asura live. Asurya nam te loka. Loka means planets. So there are planets where Asura live. So Upanishad tell us that those who act as animalistic life of demonic nature, those who are killer of the soul, they go to the demonic planets. That is the meaning. Okay?
Right. If a man fails to discharge his duties as a human being, he is forced to transmigrate to the Asura planet and take birth in the degraded species of life to work hard in ignorance and darkness.
Ignorance and darkness means mode of ignorance. The mode of ignorance. Now, before we go to the next paragraph, see our slides, what the slide says. So one verse is quoted from 3:10-26. O Vidura, the ninth class consists of beings. What is that? In which the food is distributed downward. It means we eat and it goes downward. There's only one class, human beings, who have a predominance of rajas. They are mostly in a mode of passion, who are dedicated to work, karma para, and who think themselves happy even in distress. This is the position of the human being. So now we are going to the next, our slide. The human being is more passionate than animals, and thus the sex life of the human being is more irregular. See, lion and lioness, they meet once in a year. The animal has a specific season for their mating, but only human beings are irregular. The animals have their due time for sexual intercourse, but the human beings have no regular time. The human beings are endowed with higher, advanced stage of consciousness for getting relief from existence of material miseries. But due to his ignorance, he thinks that his higher consciousness is meant for advancing in material comfort of life. It means four things: Ar, Nidra, Bhaya, Maitunya. Thus his intelligence is misused in animalistic propensities, eating, sleeping, defending and mating, instead of spiritual realization. So this is the difference between the human and animal. By advancing in material comfort, the human being puts himself into more miserable condition. But illusioned by material energy, he always thinks himself happy, even while in the midst of the misery. Such misery of human life is distinct from natural comfort of life. This is the purport of Bhagavatam 3:10-26. Now we are going to the paragraph number 5 and 6. There are two more paragraphs, 5 and 6, in this section. And what is the aim of these two paragraphs? The aim of these two paragraphs is
materialistic asuras make show of religion.
Yeah, paragraph number 5 is this is Chatura, right?
Yeah.
So para number 5 says, even failure in liberating soul. If we endeavor for liberating soul, but if we not completely success, it still will bring glorious result. What then speak to of success? If we become successful, then what to speak of that? So this para number 5 speak of Bhagavad Gita unsuccessful yogis. Unsuccessful yogis. And para number 5 further say, materialistic asura make show of religion. Make show of religion means they make some propaganda of doing yajna and all these things, but their aim is not self-realization but self-aggrandizement. And the last para is solve all problems forever. That is para number 6. So now somebody should read before you read, I think explain in Bhagavad Gita 41, 641 to 43. So these are the verses which explain unsuccessful yogi. If you practice Krishna consciousness and you cannot go back to Godhead, no problem. There's no loss. We will given a chance to take birth in a Brahminical culture or aristocratic family. At least we will get the human birth. So that is the explanation in this para. So you can see these are the two words used. Suchinam Srimatam Gehe. Suchinam means Brahminical and Srimatam means aristocratic or businessman family. So what Srila Prabhupada is telling us that even if we are unsuccessful when we are pursuing the path of elevating soul or practicing devotional service, there is no loss. we will get a better chance next life, and we can continue where we have left our devotional activities. Now, go down to the last line. By simply attempting to realize God, one is guaranteed birth in a wealthy, and if we attempt to realize God, we may not be successful. But those who do not even make an attempt, who want to be covered with illusion, who are too materialistic and too attached to the material enjoyment, must enter into the darkest region of hell. This is demons. This is demonic. They are soul killers, as confirmed throughout the Vedic literature. Such materialistic asura, they are asura, sometimes make a show of religion, but their ultimate aim is material prosperity. This is in chapter 17, verse number 17 and 18. If you open the Bhagavad Gita and read these two verses, it says they sometimes make a show of religion. They perform some yajna, invite big leaders. They don't care for the priest. You have seen this type of big festivals which looks like spiritual, in which the Brahmins are not given proper respect, but the political people are put on a higher dice, because their purpose is some different.
Which verse in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhu?
Chapter 16, verse number 17 and 18. Prabhupada is quoted in our purport.
Yes.
So Bhagavad Gita rebukes such men by calling them Atma Sambhavita Istabada. The verse goes Atma Sambhavita Istabada Dhanman Madanavita. Dhanman Madanavita. Because of wealth they are proud and arrogant. So they make show that we are religious, but they are not religious by actually. Meaning that they are considered great only on the strength of deception and are empowered by the votes of the ignorant and by their own material wealth. This is the meaning of the verse. Such are asuras devoid of self-realization and knowledge of the Ishavasya principle. Why it is devoid of Ishavasya principle? Because they show their ownership. I am able to do this bigger sacrifice. This is my wealth. I am doing it. I have employed this priest. I have invited this dignitary. So they are against Ishavasa. Everything belongs to Krishna. They say everything belongs to me. So it is against Ishavasa principle. The last universal proprietorship, that is the Ishavasa principle, are certain to enter into the darkest region, means Asuri Loka. Now the last paragraph, conclusion is that as human beings, we are meant to not simply to solving economical problems on tottering platform, but for solving all problems, means birth and death of material life, into which we have been placed by the law of nature. So what is the all problem? Means problem of birth, old age, disease and death. Because there is no solution to this. What is that? Janam, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. Now this also you put the difference between the animal and human. Human can solve all the problems, but animal cannot. So by now you make a one page, on one side put the human, on the other side put the animal, and then put all the differences, and then you put the same differences you can use for the demons and divine nature, because demonic nature is more or less animalistic, because they are in lower modes. Now we have finished the mantra 10, mantra 3. We are going to the next section, mantra 4, all through 5 mantras which describe the Ishwar or the controller. So you have any question till now, or we should continue?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it's a very silly question, but I'm asking you.
Okay.
Like Asuras also did the worship of demigods.
Who?
Asuras.
Yes.
They also
Most of the Asura worship demigod.
Yes, to take all their wounds and all.
Yes, definitely. They are great devotees of the demigod, but they are envious of the Supreme Lord. That's right.
But if they're envious, then why they worship?
They are envious of the Supreme Lord, but they think the demigods are more easily pleased and we can get benefit, and then we can fight with Supreme Lord. Like the Ravana and Hiranyakashipu did. They got benediction from Brahma.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, there's another question, Prabhu.
Yes.
I remember reading at this Bhagavatam about this Hiranyaksha. After he died, that Hiranyakasipu is specifying his wife. He's telling that a few places that says that even Lord Narayana is the supreme personality of Godhead. This is the fact of life. People have to die, and all he's specifying. Despite knowing this, and he still have hatred over Vishnu. How is that, Prabhu?
Yes, what you are speaking is also common for the Hiranyakashipu when he was specifying his mother and his brother's wife, Hiranyakash's wife, and his nephews. Then he spoke the wonderful philosophy. Similarly, Kans was speaking wonderful philosophy to Devaki and Vasudeva after the 8-handed Durga appeared and told him. That is called Asuri Vedanta. They speak Asuri Vedanta, but they don't follow. Now both are saying death is coming by nature. The Hiranyakashipu is saying death is coming by nature, but then he is going to be immortal. So this is called Asuri Vedanta, the demonic philosophy of the Vedas, only for their personal interest and to preach to others, never practice themselves. And it applies to us also. If we preach to other people and don't apply in our own life, then we are doing the same thing. Right, this is right question. Anybody else has something to ask, or we go to the mantra 4?
Prabhu, there are no slides today. We are not getting most of the slides.
Why? Brajananda, you are not displaying the slides?
Prabhuji, are you going to the next mantra now?
I am going to the next mantra, but I read most of the slides. Maybe they can read themselves, but it is better when we are discussing, then it should be on the screen. Hare Krishna. Yes, it's open. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, it is now displayed.
Okay. I am taking 1 minute break. Thanks. So, shall we go to the mantra number 4?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
One question, I want to ask one question, Prabhuji.
Yes.
All asuras, they are worshipping demigods, but demigods, many of demigods are devotees of Supreme Lord. So, worshipping devotees, why they can't get purified, or why their nature is not changed, or
Therefore, Bhagavad Gita said the worshipper of demigods are less intelligent. They are less intelligent, and demigods are not super soul in the heart of a demon that can really purify him. Only God can purify him. Or the one who carries the God in his heart can purify is dependent. So demigods are actually Vaishnavas, but somehow they have a desire to administer. So they benedict them according to their worship, but they cannot really purify. This is the difference between demigod worship and worship of the Supreme Lord. Even if a material desire, you go to the Supreme Lord, in the process of fulfilling your desire, He will purify your heart, and you will never need any more material desire to be fulfilled. But demigods simply fulfill your desire without purifying the heart. I used to give a common example. If you are a 5-year child in a December and January month having pneumonia or a cough and taking a 50 rupees, go to the ice cream parlor. Will ice cream parlor give him ice cream or not? Yes, he will take 50 rupees and give ice cream. He will never think that this ice cream will aggravate his cough and he will get more sick. But father, if you go to the father and ask that I need ice cream when you are coughing in winter, father will say, no, you take the bitter medicine. Why? Because he knows that this is not beneficial for my child. But father will give in May and June lot of a full refrigerator of ice cream for the child, no problem. So this is the difference between the worship of demigod and worship of the Supreme Lord.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, but we learn that Supreme God get more pleased when devotees are pleased. So worshipping demigods, in one way we are pleasing devotees. So why can't they get pleased?
Yes, you are right. By pleasing the devotee, God is pleased, and demigods are also Vaishnavas. But if we please the devotee for approaching Supreme Lord, then Supreme Lord is pleased. If we approach the devotee for some material benefit, then neither the devotee is pleased nor the Supreme Lord is pleased. Gopis went to the Kadyani Devi, but they want Krishna as a husband. So Krishna is pleased. The resident of Dwarka went to the Durga Devi to get Krishna back when he went in search of Samantik jewel. Krishna wanted Arjun to worship the demigod, the Durga Devi, before war. So when demigod worship is in line with Krishna consciousness, then the demigod will help the devotee. But the demigod worship is simply for sense gratification, then neither the demigods are pleased, neither the Supreme Lord is pleased. Is it clear?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful.
The goal must be there. Why we are going to the demigod? If we understand demigod as a demigod representative of God, and we go to him to help us to approach God, there is nothing wrong. We are in material world. Material world is governed by Durga Devi, and we go and pray to the Durga Devi that please don't make any obstacle on my path of Krishna consciousness. So Durga will be pleased and Krishna will be pleased. But most of the people when going to the demigod thinking that demigod are God also. So they minimize the importance of the God, therefore it is a aparadha. If they think the demigod is more powerful than God, he can fulfill my desire, that is actually what Prabhupada used to call it is illegal. They think that Supreme Lord will not fulfill my desire because my desire is illegal. Therefore I go to the demigod. It's like you instead of approaching to the minister, you go to the clerk and get your work done by some bribe. So going to the demigod is like giving bribe, thinking them as good as God. That is actually a wrong concept. Anyway, when you come to the chapter 7 and 9, there is more detailed description of demigod worship. Hare Krishna, we are going to the mantra 4. Is it okay? Is still anybody has any query or question?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Sometime we will see the question bank of chapter 3 and 4. 2 and 3. Is it okay? Has somebody done some research? So we are going to mantra 2 and 3 question. I am just asking first question. What is the destiny of one who follows the principle given by the mantra 1?
Depression.
Harmony of the Ishavasa principle. What he will get? He will live for 100 years and his work will not bind him. Okay. What is the destiny of one who does not follow the principle given in the mantra number 1? Which is actually mantra number 2. Those who don't follow the Ishavasa principle, what they will get?
He will go to the lowest species in the highest planets.
Right. What does Srila Prabhupada mean by polished animal? Just we read. Human beings acting only for their economical improvement without solving the problem of life, aside birth and death, they are actually polished animal moving on 4 wheels instead of 4 legs, but they have only one interest of solving economical problems. No interest in self-realization. Okay, you can elaborate on this point. What type of activities are altruism and humanitarianism? So I think this is not as such in our purport. You have to use your intelligence and what type of activities are altruism and humanitarianism.
So-called human welfare activities.
The so-called human, what are those? By the way, I think this word I understand. Humanitarian, like feeding food to the poor, having some free medical treatment, free charitable hospitals. And what is altruism means?
Selfless, without expectations.
Work done without self-expectation, but only on the material platform. Without spirit, like we are also distributing food as a food for life, but it is prasad. And when we distribute, we make them to chant Hare Krishna. So this may be called a humanitarian activity, but it is spiritual. So what are the humanitarian and altruistic activities? You can name couple. So-called human welfare work like opening charitable hospital, free food distribution, giving free cloth, these are all humanitarian activities. But they are pious activities. But they have no spiritual, they are all material. At that level of what Prabhupada wrote one word in the purport, they are all materialistic. If you see where these 2 words are there, they are all materialistic. So what we have to do, we have to spiritualize them, like our Food for Life program. That is also hemiterian, but we have spiritualized it, connected with Krishna. Same thing, but it is spiritualized. Now explain the meaning of Atmaha. We discuss a detail in Atmaha means the killer of the soul. Literally means degrading the evolved human consciousness by animalistic propensities. Explain the analogy of highly placed government servant. He has higher responsibilities, so he has higher facilities. Lower clerk has a low salary, low responsibility. So human has a higher responsibility to realize God. So this is like a higher government servant. How can one work for some ism and yet at the same time progress spiritually? Like we distribute food. We connected with Krishna, so spiritually we advance. So all the material work connected with God is karma kand, which is according to the Veda. If we connect, it becomes karma yoga. If we give the fruit to the God. So all the activities, all the isms can be connected with God to spiritualize them. That's what we read. And our foodfall life is a good example to cite. That we are also distributing food to the poor, but it is Krishna Prasad, and we inspire them to chant holy name and then honor Prasad, which is food given to the poor. And also our activities of congregational chanting is also a sort of charity, but at a spiritual level. That we give then holy name to the people in the street. So how the other people can be like our, you say this is a material activity to get money from the rich person to make them life member. But it is spiritualized because money is used for the Krishna, for building Krishna temple. So all these activities which appears to be material are spiritualized. As we are spiritualizing in ISKCON, distributing books is like a business. Running a restaurant is a business. Running a guest house is a business. But it is how it is spiritualized. It is connected with Krishna. It belongs to Krishna. We are servants and we are doing it for the pleasure of Krishna, and whatever is earned by that is used in service of Krishna. So in this way we can train everybody, and it was a system in actually India. The people, their business, they keep the share of the some temple they belong to, and they used to give the share to the temple. It means they spiritualize all their activities by connecting with the Supreme Lord through the proper parampara. So there is a way to do this, okay? We are going to the next question. In terms of this mantra, briefly distinguish between the two kinds of human beings, between Asura and Asura. What is their main distinguishing character? In the beginning of my talk, I spoke about the difference between the Asura and Asura. Following scripture, not following scripture. In a higher mode of nature, lower mode of nature. Follower of the spiritual, follower of the Vishnu against the Vishnu. So, and then there are something in our purport you find out. Write a summary overview of section 1, invocation to mantra 3, including logical development of mantras. Whatever given in you in the slides, the connection between the three mantra, you write first that and then you elaborate on that. What is the connection between the three mantra? This is given in a some violet color or something at the end of all mantras. If you remember, you can get this. Now we are going to mantra 4 and 5. Then we'll do these all question answers. Is it okay? I would suggest you have now 3 days break, Saturday, Sunday and Monday. We'll again join on Tuesday. So please answer all of these questions from what we have discussed. If you have the recording or from our books, answer all these questions. And next time when we meet, at least some of you should read those. Is it okay? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Sure, Prabhu.
So in these,
Okay, yes, Prabhu.
so in 3 days, please kindly complete these all answer. That will be better for you before exam. It will be fast food for you to quickly refer, because now it is fresh in your mind and you can recollect things. So we are going to the mantra 4 now. With this section is about Supreme Lord Ishwar. So connection between the previous section, invocation number 1, mantra 1, 2 and 3, and this mantra is invocation to Isho Upanishad, Isha Vasa principle mantra 1, and mantra 2 and 3, live in harmony with Ishwar and living and not living in harmony. What are the consequences that we have done? Now to live in harmony with Ishwar, we must know the Ishwar. Ishwar is proprietor. He is complete. He is full. Anything coming out of him is full, complete. So who is Ishwar? How to know the Ishwar is discussed in the next section 4 to 8. So till now we have discussed Ishwar own everything. He is proprietor of everything. Those who follow will be favored. Those who don't follow will be degraded. But who is the Ishwar? Now, one mantra 4 to 8 is who is Ishwar, our controller. So we are reading the mantra. Anejadekam manaso javyo Naena deva apunyan apurvam arsha Tadadhavato anyanate titishta Tasmin apo matra isha dadati. Anejad ekam, although fixed in his abode. He is in his own abode, Supreme Lord. Who is in his own abode? Enat, the personality of Godhead. Manaso javayo is swifter than the mind. It means his speed is faster than the mind and wind, and can overcome all others running. Tadadhavato anyan ateti. If there is a race, he is always in the first. The powerful demigod Deva cannot approach. Na punyavan him enat. Although in one place, tishtati tasmin, he controls those who supply air and rain, means demigods. Apo, matra, matrishva, ishava. He surpasses all in excellence. Purvam arshat. So this is the meaning, translation of this verse in our book. Although fixed in abode, the personality of God is swifter than mind and can overcome all other runnings. The powerful demigods cannot approach him. Although in one place he controls those supplying the air and rain, he surpasses all in excellence. So this is Ishwar. So let us see the Isopanisad mantra 4 to 8 overview in our PPT. Ishwar can be understood by spiritual vision This is the theme of this section. Mantra 4 to 8, the theme is Ishwar can be understood by spiritual vision. Mantra 4 and 5 show how Ishwar is inconceivable to our intelligence. So the theme of this mantra and the next mantra is Ishwar, our controller, is inconceivable to our intelligence. Mantra 6 and 7 first develop spiritual vision by seeing worldly things, events and people with equanimity. So that is the spiritual vision. See equally everything. And the last mantra 8, the theme is this vision developed further and directed to Ishwar. Help us to understand Him. So this is the theme of this section. Breakdown of the paragraph of mantra 4. In our mantra 4 there are 7 paragraphs. The paragraph 1. Absolute truth cannot be understood by speculation. Then how do we understand? Para 2.
In the slide, Prabhu.
Yeah, you have slides?
Not for the paragraph breaking.
Okay, now this we have discussed. Go to the next slide. Yes, para number 1, absolute truth. 80 is absolute truth. Cannot be understood by speculation, which means by logic. Then how do we understand? Answer. Para 2. Revelation helps us understand God and His energies. Revelation means God reveal Himself by His causeless mercy. What is the understanding we get? When God reveals, what understanding we get? The answer is para 3. Energies are non-different yet different. So energies means material world and jivas. They are different and non-different. Then how we understand that? How we understand that is different and yet non-different? Para number 4. As we are limited, we can understand unlimited only through His revelation. How the revelation will happen? The last 2 paragraphs. 5, 6 and 7. 3 paragraphs. Play your part and you will be given understanding. Play your part means practice devotional service. Then you will get given understanding. Krishna will give Buddhi Yoga. This is the breakdown of all the 7 paragraphs of this mantra. Is it okay? So we start with the paragraph number 1. So let us read the paragraph number 1. Though through mental speculation, even the greatest philosopher cannot know the Supreme Lord, who is the absolute personality of Godhead. I am asking one question. Why the mental speculator cannot understand God?
Because our senses are limited. We have imperfect senses.
Yeah, you are saying good. But which path he is following? I am looking for this answer. Which path he is following? Therefore, his conclusion will be incorrect.
Avaroha.
Yeah, he is following Avaroha path. He is following ascending path or inductive path. Therefore he will never be. So this is the way you apply your previous understanding here. Why he will not understand? Somebody asked that, because he is following the inductive method or ascending process, which is going from particular to general, so he will never reach to the conclusion. Is it okay? He can be known only by his devotee through his mercy. He can be known only by his devotees through his mercy. His mercy means Supreme Lord's mercy. Now Srila Prabhupada is giving two examples from Brahma Santa. It is stated that even if a non-devotee philosopher travels with his space at this way, so these are the verses which better I should read directly two verses. Before I read these verses, there one line is explained in our slides. That line is only Krishna by his mercy, only devotees can know by his mercy. So can you show this next slide, qualification to understand bhakti? Qualification to understand bhakti.
Yes, Prabhuji. That slide is displayed now.
Yeah, display that. Swalpapi ruchireva syad bhakti tattva avabodhika yuktaistu kevala naiva yada asyaha pratisthita. This is Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, which means nectar of devotion. Even if one has little taste, swa alp api ruchir eva, ruchi means taste, for the topic of bhakti, bhakti tattva, he can understand it, avabodhika. He who tries to understand bhakti by dry logic cannot understand it. Yuktahi tu kevala na ke eva. Yukta means logic. Because logic is insubstantial. Tad asya apratishta. So it is insubstantial. Now see the next qualification to understand bhakti. Ruchi or taste in this verse means taste for scriptures like Bhagavatam that present the true nature of bhakti. This taste arises through previous impressions, means many lifetimes agyat sukriti of bhakti. That ruchi lets one understand the nature of bhakti, the highest position of bhakti. Logic, which is dry, without ruchi cannot give an understanding of bhakti. However, logic alone with full taste for topic of bhakti can give an understanding of it. Why logic is insubstantial? Question. Why logic is insubstantial? A person more skillful at logic can bring about conclusion different from what was carefully proven previously by another skillful logician. Tarko Pratishtanat. This is the Vedanta Sutra. Logic being insubstantial can prove the opposite. And this is the very famous verse from Mahabharata, that logic is insubstantial. Tarko Pratishtaha Shurtayo Vibhinna Nasa Varishira Yasya Matam Na Bhinnam Dharmasya Tattvam Nehitam Goyam Mahajano Yena Gatasya Pantha. Dry arguments are inconclusive. The great personalities.
What verse is that, Prabhu? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
What verse is that?
You see the slide number, next slide. Mahabharata 1 par, Mahabharata 1 par 313.117. This is from Mahabharata, very famous verse. Prabhupada used to quote mostly last part, Mahajano Yena Gatasa Pantha. Follow the path traversed by the Mahajan. You got it on the screen?
No, Prabhu.
Brajananda, bring the verse on the screen.
Prabhu, it is giving a list of points for qualification to understand Bhakti.
Go next. Move on. Okay, next. Yeah, this is the verse. Tarko pratishtaha shrutayo vabhinna. The arguments are inconclusive. A great personality whose opinion does not differ from others is not considered great sage. Naste arishi rajasya matirna bhinna. Everybody has a different opinion. Simply by studying Vedas, which are variegated, one cannot come to the right path by which religious principles are understood. Solid truth of religious principles are hidden in the heart of an unadulterated, self-realized person. Consequently, as the Shastra confirm, one should accept whatever progressive path the Mahajan advocate. So this is all only to explain why mental speculation of great philosopher cannot know God. Just for this one line, all these evidence are given to you. And also evidence is given to you that devotee can understand. Now we are going to the Brahma Samhita, verse number 534, which is in our purport. Panthastu koti shatavat sarasam pragamyo vayor athapi manaso munipangu pungavanam swapyasti yata prapadya simnaya vichintya tatve govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the Brahman Lord, only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after transcendental and betake themselves to pranayam by drilling the respiration, or by the jnanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahm by process of elimination of mundane extending over thousands of millions of years. So it is rare for them to approach Supreme Lord actually. Pantha tu koti shatvatsar. Shatvatsar means 1,000 millions of years. They cannot approach. This is the verse number 34 which Srila Prabhupada has given as the evidence. And what Srila Prabhupada writes here? If they travel through the space by the speed of wind or mind, hundreds of millions of years, he will still find that the absolute truth is far, far away from him. Now next verse, 537. Oh, 534, why is it in 534? The next is 37, which is wrongly said here, 35. This is 37. Okay.
Prabhuji, I can't find that 37.
Oh, this 34 is it is wrongly written there. You go to the next word. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita Bhish. This is there.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, this is wrongly written below. I have corrected in my slide. You may not be able to correct. You can correct. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita Bhish. Tabhirya eva nija rupataya kalabhi goloka eva nivaste akilatma bhuto govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the Brahman Lord, residing in his own realm Golok, with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of ecstatic potency possessed by 64 artistic activities, in the company of her confident Sakhis, the embodiment of extension of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa. So Srila Prabhupada writes here, Brahma Samhita 537 further describes the absolute personal God as his transcendental abode known as Golok, where he remains and engaged in his pastime. Yet by his inconceivable potencies, he can simultaneously reach every part of his creative energy. In Vishnu Puran, his potencies are compared to the heat and light that emanate from fire. So this is the analogy. This is the analogy. What is the analogy? Supreme Lord is like a fire. And two things coming out of fire is heat and light. So these are the two energies by which the whole material world is created. The para and apara. Although situated in one place, the fire can distribute the light and heat for some distance. Similarly, Absolute Personality Godhead, although fixed in his transcendental abode, can diffuse his different energies everywhere. Now we will go to the next paragraph. By revelation, God can be understood. Go to our next slide. Absolute truth can't be understood by speculation, para 1. Not by speculation. But the infinite reveals to the finite through increasing devotional dedication. This is for us to understand. Okay, there is a little more on this subject for us to understand in our slide. Go to the next slide. Is it there? Okay, infinite. Somebody can read this Bhagavatam purport.
The merciful Lord left behind him the great teachings of the Bhagavad Gita so that one can take the instructions of the Lord even when he is not visible to material eyesight. Material sense cannot have any estimation of the Supreme Lord, but by his inconceivable power, the Lord can incarnate himself to the sense reception of the conditioned souls in a suitable manner through the agency of matter, which is also another form of the Lord's manifested energy.
Anybody can understand what is the meaning of this paragraph? It's a deity form. The inconceivable power of the Lord can incarnate means in a Archa Vigraha himself to the sense preparation of conditioned soul in a suitable manner in a deity form through the agency of matter means in a stone or in a metal or in a picture form, which is also another form of Lord in manifested energy. Can you see this line? Can you understand this? Is it clear? Lord appears to the devotees material sight in the Archa Vigraha form or a deity form. That is the meaning of this paragraph. Is it clear now? Go to the next slide. The devotees are constantly engaged in the Supreme Lord's service. The Lord understands the mentality and sincerity of a particular living entity who is engaged in Krishna consciousness and gives him the intelligence to understand the science of Krishna in association of devotees. Discussion of Krishna is a very potent, and its fortunate person has such association and tries to assimilate the knowledge, then he will surely make the advancement towards spiritual realization. Lord Krishna, in order to encourage Arjuna to higher and higher elevation in his potent service, describe in the 9th chapter matter more confidence than any he has already disclosed. So, what is actually written in this purport is, can somebody analyze the purport?
Hello.
Sadhu Sang.
Yes, Sadhu Sang is most important. This is a verse from 3rd canto, 25th chapter, 25th verse actually. Satang prasangam mama virya samvido. This is the verse. in association of devotees, discussion of my powerful topics immediately awaken our devotion. So 3:25:25, I think that is the verse. And Prabhupada says this is the way to understand Krishna. Go to the next. Go to the next. Okay. The absolute truth can't be understood by speculation. Still, para 1 is more elaborately explained. Vishnu Puran. Prabhupada has given in Vishnu Puran. Can you see the purport? See the first paragraph. In Vishnu Puran, his potencies are compared. So this is the verse given just evidence. Ekadesha istidasya agner jyotisam vishtaranti yatha parasya brahmana shaktis tathejam akhilam jagat. So this is simply given the evidence for Prabhupada's purpose, that it is all everything given from the scripture. Whatever we see in this world is but an expansion of various energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is like fire, and that spread illumination, which means light, for a long distance, although it is situated in one place. Prabhupada gave the two things, light and heat. So this is the evidence for our purport, which is Prabhupada said Vishnu Puran. So this is the verse. This is for your insight in the purport. Shall we continue further? Now, concept of synthesis and analysis. God has his energies. Okay, well, let us read the paragraph 2. God will be understood by revelation. Can somebody read this?
Although his energies are innumerable, they can be divided into three principal categories: the internal potency, the marginal potency, and the external potency. There are hundreds and millions of subheadings to each of these categories. The dominating demigods who are empowered to control and administer such natural phenomena as air, light, and rain are all classified within the marginal potency of the absolute person. Lesser living beings, including humans, also belong to the Lord's marginal potency. The material world is the creation of the Lord's external potency, and the spiritual sky, where the kingdom of God is situated, is the manifestation of his internal potency.
Okay. So what you understand here is different energies of the Lord, and they are categorized in three. Okay, and what are these three? Material, marginal, and spiritual. External, internal, and marginal, right? That is all. But then the Prabhupada has given description of the marginal energy in a variety of demigods and the human beings, all the jivas. Okay, go to the next paragraph. Thus the different energies of the Lord.
Thus the different energies of the Lord are present everywhere. Although the Lord and his energies are non-different, one should not mistake these energies for the supreme truth. Nor should one wrongly consider that the Supreme Lord is distributed everywhere impersonally, or that he loses his personal existence. Men are accustomed to reach conclusions according to their capacity for understanding, but the Supreme Lord is not subject to our limited capacity for understanding. It is for this reason that the Upanishads warn us that no one can approach the Lord by his own limited potency.
So because we are the energy of the Lord and we are limited, so we cannot know unlimited. Therefore, only unlimited can be known by his mercy, not by our own efforts. So these are the different energies of the Lord, and the energy and energetic are non-different, but they are also different. How they are different? The energetic is not controlled by energy. He controls the energies. But they are his energies, therefore energy and energetic are not non-different also. Going to the next paragraph, in the Bhagavad Gita, somebody else?
In the Bhagavad Gita 10.2, the Lord says that not even the great rishis and suras can know him. And what to speak of the asuras, for whom there is no question of understanding the ways of the Lord. This fourth mantra of Sri Isopanisad very clearly suggests that the absolute truth is ultimately the absolute person. And there would have been no need to mention so many details in support of his personal features.
So Srila Prabhupada first is referring Bhagavad Gita, Name Vidu Surganaha Prabhavam na Maharishya Amadiri Devanam Maharishinam Cha Sarvasa. I'm taking 1 minute because my battery is going down of the computer, because we have to finish this mantra at least today. 1 minute. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So, demigods and rishis don't know me. Why? Why demigod and rishi don't know me? Because I am their origin. How the son will know the marriage of a father? Son was not born at that time, so they were not there. So Isopanisad tells that Lord is the supreme person. This is the one most astonishing thing Prabhupada is writing. Okay, next paragraph. Although the individual part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, potencies have all the symptom of the Lord himself, it means Jiva is also Satchitananda. He is eternal, he is full of knowledge and he is blissful. They have limited sphere of activity, but they are minute and are therefore all limited. The part and parcels are never equal to the whole. Therefore, they cannot appreciate the Lord's full potency. Under the influence of material nature, foolish and ignorant living beings, who are but part and parcel of the Lord, try to Conjecture about the Lord's transcendental position. What is the meaning of conjecture? Anybody knows? Look quickly in the dictionary. What is the meaning of conjecture?
Is it imitate?
It is the dictionary's explanation is that an opinion or idea that is not based on definite knowledge or is formed by guessing.
Say again, Chatura.
Yeah, the definition on the dictionary is that conjecture is an opinion or idea that is not based on definite knowledge and it is formed by guessing.
So everybody understood what is the meaning?
Yes.
The opinion of a person who is not actually knowing about that, right?
Can we say also speculation, Prabhu?
Yeah, more or less like that. Well, there is called synthesis and analysis. There are two subjects here discussed in our slide. Still, I am not very clear about that. We will discuss this. So this try to conjecture means synthesize and analyze things about the Lord's transcendental position, which is like mental speculation, because their level is minute and finite. How can they know the unlimited and infinite? Sri
Is there a slide,
Isopanisad.
Prabhu, for this?
Sorry, Rasika?
Is there a slide for that, Prabhu?
We will come to the next slide afterwards. Let us finish this line. Shri Isopanisad warns of the futility of trying to establish identity of Lord through mental speculation. One should try to learn the transcendental form of the Lord Himself, the supreme source of the Vedas, for the Lord alone has full knowledge of the transcendence. So we should learn from the Lord Himself. Okay, we have two more paragraphs. So let us see what is in our slides now. Para 1 and 2. Concept of synthesis and analysis about God and His energies. This is the para 1 and 2. In thinking there are two types. It means when we think there are two types. One is analysis, other is synthesis. You have this, okay. So I don't know what actually it says here. Computer, what does computer do? It analyzes and synthesizes things. Grammar. And the flower. There are some examples. About that, we will analyze something and we synthesize something. And Krishna consciousness. So synthesize makes things work. And analysis help us to understand how things work. So, like flower, we see flower, so we analyze that how it is so beautiful. Who made this beautiful? The seed was not having any color and now not having any fragrance. So from where the fragrance has come, from where the color has come, then we actually analyze. Then we synthesize from the Shastri and grammar that the earth has a flower. So by coming in contact the seed with the earth has become so beautiful. So in this way Krishna consciousness, but through the scripture and through the synthesis, thinking and analysis, we will come to understanding how the energies, how they work. This slide, still I am not really clearly explaining it. Anybody can have some idea about this? No. Okay, we will again discuss this next time. Now go to the next slide. Concept of synthesis and analysis. God has his energies. So these energies are given next verse. Mamaivanso jiva loke. The eternal Jeev of one of my parts, drag with it the senses and six senses and minds, which are situated. This is the Jeev energy. And then next one verse is 10:20. Vedaham sama vedo asmi, Vedanam sam vedo asmi, Devanam asmi vasvaha, Indriyanam manascha asmi, Bhutanam asmi chetana. These are the different energies of the Lord as a vibhutis. Vibhuti means opulences of the Supreme. Among the Veda, I am Samaveda, is a vibhuti. Among the Deva, I am Indra. Among the senses, I am mind. And in all living entities, I am the power of awareness. Now this is what we discuss in para 2. Next slide. 3 principal energies. Internal, marginal and external. The marginal dominating demigods and living entities in our purport. And external is called material. Now para 3 which we have read. Lord and his energies. Fire burns. The two, fire and burning, the same as well as different. Fire is source of energy and burning is the action of that energy. So they are one and different. It's a different way to see it. Para number 4. As we are limited, we can understand the unlimited only through his revelation. Para number 4. And this is the verse which we have quoted. Prabhupada has quoted 10:2. This is the verse given here. The Devatas and great Rishis do not know about my extraordinary powers, since I am the source of the Devatas and the great Rishis. Now para number 5. We have read para 5? No. Play your part and you will be given understanding. This is the theme of para number 5. Have we read the para number 5?
No. No, Prabhu.
Okay. Every part and parcel of the complete whole is endowed with some particular energy to act according to Lord's will.
Prabhu, that's para 6.
So para 4, okay, you read the para 5, okay?
Although the individual parts and parcels of the Lord's potencies have all the symptoms of the Lord himself, they have limited spheres of activity.
I think I read this, no?
Yeah, you are right. You have explained it.
Yes.
Only Lord, this last line was important. One should try to learn the transcendence from the Lord himself. Okay, so para 5, we have 2 PPTs. You see the para 5 PPT, then we go to para 6. 724. Avyaktam vyaktamāpanam manyate mam abudya param bhavam ajananto mamavyam avya anuttamam. The unintelligent think that the impersonal Brahm has manifested an illusory form as myself. They do not know my transcendental nature, consisting of form, qualities and activities, which are eternal and most excellent. It means what Srila Prabhupada is saying, Lord has a form, they don't know the form. And next is Avajananti Mam Mura 9:11. The fools deride me, the Lord of all beings, in this eternal human form, not knowing it is my original spiritual form, pure Brahm, higher than all else. So this day, nobody can know this, even big Gyanis, Mayavadis, impersonalists cannot know me. So that is the concept. Only God can reveal himself, then we can understand him. Now para number 6. We are, now see this slide. We are to be a part of Krishna's plan. Don't live apart from Krishna. Play your part and you will be given understanding. Part and parcel is endowed with particular potency. Our material talents come from God and have to be used in God's service. Karmis accept their talent and expand material existence. Philosophy live here and die here. It means knowledge and karmis cannot understand. Jnanis surpass their talent. Suppress their talent. Everything in this world is false. They say like that. Bhakta use their talents in service of Lord. This world is real but temporary. And the real life is spiritual world. In the spiritual world. Okay. The example is giving singing songs. That we will go next. So read now the para number 6. Every part and parcel of the complete.
Every part and parcel of the complete whole is endowed with some particular energy to act according to the Lord's will.
Now what is the particular energy? It means he has some talents. Okay.
When the part and parcel living entity forgets his particular activities under the Lord's will, he is considered to be in Maya, illusion.
Okay.
Thus, from the very beginning, Sri Isopanisad warns us to play the part designated for us by the Lord. This does not mean that the individual soul has no initiative of his own. Because he is part and parcel of the Lord, he must partake of the initiative of the Lord as well. When a person properly utilizes his initiative or active nature with intelligence, understanding that everything is in the Lord's potency, he can revive his original consciousness, which was lost due to association with Maya, the external energy.
So this was para number 6. We have slide. रसोहम अपसुकांते है प्रभास्मे शशिसूर्य प्रणव सर्वे देशु शब्द के परुषम निशु. I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and moon. I am Pranav in the Vedas, means Omkar, sound in the ether and successful effort of a man. If the abilities are coming from Krishna, if you don't use in the Lord's service, then they will take you away from Krishna. Shra Prabhupada, expensive vision, science must be used to glorify God. In Bhagavatam 1.5.22, Shra Prabhupada said. So, we have given some talents. If we use this talent, which are given by God in the service of the God, then God will give us intelligence to know Him. But if the talents we use for our own, say, aggrandizement or our own glory, then we will be away from God by our action. So we are reading the last part, last paragraph. All power is obtained from the Lord. Therefore, each particular power must be utilized to execute the will of the Lord and not otherwise. So what is the will of the Lord? Will of the Lord is man mana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Think of me, become my devotee, worship me and offer obeisance to me. This is the will of the Lord. The Lord can be known by one who has adopted such a submissive service attitude. Very important word. Submissive and service attitude means humble and rendering service. What is opposite to it? Enjoying attitude is a cause of material bondage. Service attitude is cause of understanding God. So our enjoying mentality and attitude has to be revived to service attitude, which is our constitution. And arrogance has to be given up of false ego and become submissive. Perfect knowledge means knowing the Lord in all His features as a Brahma, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Knowing His potencies, both external, marginal and internal. And knowing how these potencies work by His will. These matters are described by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita, the sense of all Upanishads. Now go to our slides to finish this section. Play your part and you will be given understanding, para 5 to 7. Couple our intelligence with Krishna's intelligence. Couple our intelligence with Krishna's intelligence means?
Connect. We follow the instruction of the law.
Yes, but follow Bhagavad Gita. That is the intelligence of Krishna, and then we will. Srila Prabhupada and devotional service is individual. It is voluntary and it is spontaneous. So every individual has to practice it, and it must be voluntary, and it should be spontaneous.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Now we can have a question. We have finished the mantra 4.
Prabhu, I have a question.
Yes, now questions, yes.
Okay, in paragraph 6, where it is mentioned in the second half of the paragraph.
Yes.
Because he's part and parcel of the Lord, he must partake of the initiative of the Lord as well. So, and before that it says that this does not mean that the individual has no initiative of his own, but he has to take the initiative of the Lord. What does that imply?
This is what the last line here, we couple our intelligence with the Krishna's intelligence. We have initiative, means we are intelligent, we can initiate new things. And then we can use our initiative and couple it with the Krishna's initiative. So what actually Krishna wants us to do, that we should do. What Srila Prabhupada is saying actually, that like animal has no initiative. They simply enjoy their karma. But we have the initiative to do something new. So whatever talent we have to do something initially, it should be in line with Krishna's guidance, not independent. Therefore it is written here, couple your intelligence with Krishna's intelligence. It is like that, like Srila Rupa Goswami, we write, Sri Chaitanya Mano Abhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale. Rupa Goswami understood the mind of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he executed that. So Krishna says, you read Bhagavad Gita and preach the message of Bhagavad Gita, then you will be more dear to me. So this is the advice of Krishna, and we just follow that, then we will be successful. So we have finished mantra 3 and also mantra 4. Next time we will do the 5 and 6. And we will again redo this mantra again next time with the question and answers. What Srila Prabhupada is actually given in this purport, we can say 3-4 things are there major. The first thing is, nobody can understand Lord by his own efforts, intelligence, logic, or any other effort. And then Lord is a person with many multiple energies, and he is simultaneously one with and different from the energies. Since we are energy, therefore how can we know the energetic who is complete and we are part? But then Srila Prabhupada is saying that complete is a person, and his energies may be not person. Usually energies are not person. But we living entities are person. And then example Srila Prabhupada gave for the energy and the energetic as fire and heat and light. They are same and they are not same. Then Srila Prabhupada said, if we are blessed by the Lord, and when we are blessed by the Lord, when we use our intelligence in line of the intelligence of the Supreme Lord, it means follow his instruction through his devotees association, then God will give us understanding of himself. So this is the whole purport like that. And the verse itself says, Lord is very fast and swift than any other living entity. So he is a person, therefore he can go fast. So Prabhupada is taking Lord as a person. Okay, any other question or comment? You read this mantra once more, and then questions we will discuss next time. I think we are okay. The mantra 4 and 5. How is the Lord faster than all others? How does the Lord surpass all in excellence, superiority, and outstanding feature? They are all from mantra 4. Explain how Lord is simultaneously inside and outside, near and far, walking and not walking. This is mantra 5. Not we have done. What does contradictory qualities of the Lord prove? Not done. Mantra 4 describes the personality of Godhead. According to Prabhupada, how does this verse suggest that absolute truth is ultimate a person? That is what we discussed. Prabhupada writes, this is paragraph number 4 and 5. Lord is a person and nobody can understand him without his mercy. On one hand, we should play the part designated for us by the Lord. At the same time, this does not mean that the individual soul has no initiative of his own. How does Srila Prabhupada reconcile the 2 points? Verse 4. Explain the analogy of fire, heat and light. Verse 4. So you read this and try to answer, and then we will discuss this on Tuesday. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you read this today and answer at least some question on your own. First finish the question of verse number 2 and 3. We will again discuss this little more about this mantra next time.
Okay.